Lady K.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Lady K Chat, a podcast that is designed for men and women to become better versions of themselves, which is broadcast every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Various subjects will be spoken upon, such as relationships, health and wellness, personal development, wealth building, children, and so much more. She is a two-time Amazon best-selling author, an international speaker, and life coach. She is Lady K. And now for your host, Lady K.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lady K Chat podcast. You are here with your favorite host, Lady K. And tonight, guys, I have a special treat. Listen, we are in the last month of the year, and we know we want to go into the new year with new thinking, new results, new looks. But sometimes I feel before we can get to that place, we have to leave the baggage behind. So we're going to be leaving some things behind in 2021. And tonight's show, it's called The Storm Is Over Now. And as you can see at the bottom, now is in all capitals because you have to speak it into existence. You have to say, you know what? Yes, I have been through some traumatic experience. Yes, I have been through the storm. It feels like hell and I don't like it. But I'm telling you right now, declare, decree it, speak it into existence. And let me tell you something, guys. Oh my gosh. This young lady that's sitting beside me, oh gosh, she has a powerful testimony. But before we go into her testimony, I just have to tell you about this bright light. She is a powerhouse. Don't let her height fool you. Don't let her, her slow. Don't let that fool you. This one right here is a powerhouse. She is the CEO of the Green Movement, and I would like everyone to help me introduce and give her a warm welcome, everyone. Miss Ingrid Lamour Thomas. Welcome, Ingrid.
Thank you so much, Kalima. Oh, wow. That was so good. Thank you so much for this warm introduction. It's such a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see how the show is going to go. I already feel the power of the Holy Spirit. I know it's going to flow through me. I just invite him already to flow through me.
Yes.
Encourage somebody else. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. To be here. And you know what, Ingrid, before we get started, like I told you guys, let me back up a little bit. I met Ingrid a couple of years ago, right? And we met at a resort. And I didn't even speak to her first. I didn't even know her. But let me tell you something. Her spirit introduced me to her, okay? Her spirit met me. I said, who is she? Her smile it's like, oh my God, was just attractive. Her energy was like so magnetic. You couldn't help to want to know, who is this lady? So we clicked it, but I always love her energy. And she has been through something that I think a lot of people will probably feel down and sad about themselves. And this is why I love her energy so much. She didn't let this one thing take her out. She didn't let the devil slay her out because she believed and she leaned on God. And, again, we all have a traumatic experience that we went through. So I'm just going to let Ingrid share a little bit about her story. So Ingrid, please tell us it happened about a year ago, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about a year ago, what happened in your experience?
Well, thank you for that question. Oh, wow. A year ago, I almost died. And I went to the doctor's office. I was exactly November 2020. It was November 16th, 2020. So it was exactly a year ago in a couple of days that I went to the doctor for a second opinion, just for a consult.
Right.
And I'm sorry. I'm just getting this thing in my throat out of nowhere.
Yeah, it gotta go.
We're gonna bind the devil right now.
Yes.
Because this testimony, somebody else needs to hear it.
Absolutely.
Because I was fine all day, and just as I was talking to you, I have something in my throat. But just bear with me. It will get better. Yes, so I went to the doctor, and just if I want to just go back from that, just a little background from before I went to the doctor. I was on a journey last year to get my health together, just focusing on my health more, even though I've always been a healthy eater, healthy person. But because I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, what they call it.
Oh, wow.
In 2020, in March 2020, that took me on a journey because I wanted to find out, how do you treat this thing naturally? Right. Because the doctors were already talking about maybe surgery, find out if there was cancerous, they were not sure. And if you don't know about hyperthyroidism, this is autoimmune disease, but that's the type that makes you lose weight really fast, heart palpitation, really, really bad. Your hair starts thinning, your eyes start caving in, and it's like your bulging eyes. You can, so it's a lot of different symptoms. And I was already feeling palpitation. I was losing weight. My hair was thinning. I was already starting to feel them. But I wanted to know, how do I treat it naturally? By the grace of God, I did some research, and I found a lot of information. I found some information, but I didn't find the information. I implemented it. And by the grace of God, within 6 months, my thyroid levels went back to normal.
Wow.
And I remember my doctor, that was in about October 2020, my doctor said, Ingrid, I gotta give it to you. I cannot take the credit. You did this by yourself because I didn't give you any medication. You treated your own thyroid.
Yes.
But of course, we all know that was the grace of God first and foremost. But like my sister had told me, I didn't only find the information, but I had the fortitude to apply it and the discipline to apply it. Whew. And I remember I used to go on live every Sunday and say, does anybody know about the supplements that I'm taking? These natural supplements. I'm really feeling good in my body. This thing is good. I was saying that this diagnosis is a blessing in disguise. I kept saying that. Lo and behold, it was getting my body ready for even bigger challenge. Because just a month later, I almost died. I had emergency surgery.
Wow.
Treated my thyroid in October. But as I was going through that journey, I started to make sure, let me check everything in my body. So I went to the gynecologist. I said, oh, no, what? Let me just check everything. Because I became my best health advocate through it all. Because now I know what questions to ask, make sure I get recommendation from my doctor. So I started to learn how to get a hold of my health and be my health advocate. So while I was going through that journey, I went to the doctor to check on making sure that I was good. So I said to the gynecologist, can I have an ultrasound and see? She's like, you okay? I said, well, I'm fine. I don't have any pain, but I just wanted to find out, make sure that I'm good.
Right.
I'm the one who asked her. That was in July. And then they said they saw a cyst, then check with the doctor, specialist. They're not sure about it. They don't know what it is, but they're not sure. So then in October, my thyroid is back to normal level. But in November, I went to that specialist that they sent me to make sure that cyst was fine. And as I got into that office, I went to the consult. The doctor told me, okay, I want you to probably do another CAT scan, ultrasound, and make sure that everything is good. And as I was in that office about to leave, and they called me back, they said, well, let's schedule your appointment for you. Within seconds, I started screaming. Wow. Pain that I've never felt before. Everybody's asking me, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know. I was screaming, top of my lungs. I couldn't sit anymore. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't walk. Everything that I do hurt. And they have me lay down. I couldn't lay down. Everything that they tried, I couldn't do it. So the doctor said, okay, within 15 minutes later, they said, okay, we're not keeping you here. There's something wrong with you. Guess what? The doctor's office is attached to a hospital.
Ooh.
They wheeled me to the hospital, to the ER, had ultrasound, and find out my whole belly is full of blood.
Wow.
And had I left that office not even 2 minutes before, for this pain to hit me, while I was driving, I would have been gone.
Wow.
There's no way. It hits you the way it hit me. And then, of course, I could have gotten in an accident. I could have killed someone else. You never know. But God made it so that I was in the right place at the right time with the right people around me to help me. I wasn't home. I would have been by myself at home at that time.
Wow.
And if I were home thinking that I just had some stomach pain and taking like a couple Tylenols, I would have died, because that, blood in your stomach, that's septic shock right there.
So let me ask you a question, Ingrid. Do they know how the blood got in your tummy?
I had a cyst in my ovary. That's what they found out, but the cyst burst.
So that's what it was. The cyst burst. Wow.
I was already done with the consult. I was leaving.
Wow. Was this, if you don't mind me asking, was the cyst big? Was it small? Because sometimes it
wasn't alarming. They just wanted to see. I said, well, maybe it looks like it grew a little bit from when you did it a couple months ago. Let's just check. But it was nobody was alarmed. Nobody was thinking something was wrong. Nothing.
Wow.
So now they wheeled me to the ER. Of course, and then they did that. So then when they realized that, so I had to be rushed to emergency surgery, because in that process, I lost a 1.5 liters of blood. I lost almost 20 pounds right then and there that day. And I'm already a small person, but I was like so thin, like within 24 hours, I became unrecognizable.
Wow.
And in the middle of surgery, imagine the shock of having to go to the doctor, and then you find yourself sick, and you go to the ER, and then they tell you surgery.
Right.
But then you come out of surgery, and then they come and tell you about the big C word. When I don't like to say that word, because it's not attached to me. It's not attached to destiny. So I choose to remember that life and death is in the power of my tongue. So I don't say I'll say the word just for this purpose, but they say they found cancer, but I don't associate with it. I don't say my cancer journey. I don't say those words.
Yes.
You will see my post, I never really mention it, because it's not attached to my destiny. It's not attached to me. It's not attached to my journey, actually.
Right.
So that's just my choice. I choose not to use that word, because I know our words have power.
Absolutely.
So, but then they said they found that, and I said, what? I didn't know anything like that was inside of me, but by the grace of God, it was stage 1. Okay. And they removed it. They removed everything. They cleaned me. Everything is done. So, but I didn't go home. Imagine I went home. I went to the doctor on the 16th of November. I didn't go home until 10 days later.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? You leave your house to go to a quick doctor's office, to doctor's appointment. That's why when we're leaving our homes, we have to be super careful and intentional about, talking to God and giving God the day, and ask God to cover us, because we never know. You never know what can happen.
Right.
I didn't come back home until 10 days later. And I remember it was like the day before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got to be around your family.
Yes, I was able to go home that night, the night before Thanksgiving. Oh. And yes, so that's what happened to me. And of course, more trauma. After I went back to I think it was a couple of weeks later, I went back for my follow-up with the doctor, and he said, well, we took out everything. So I'm thinking, okay, now I'm gonna go home and try to get better, recuperate from my surgery. Oh, by the way, you have to do chemotherapy. What? I said, what happened to my life?
Wait, before you go forward, Ingrid, I just gotta acknowledge a few things that I heard in your journey, because it is a powerful journey of how everything just transitioned into what it is. Like you got hit with boom, boom, boom. But just going back, you said something so powerful before. You said, I had the discipline, and when I did my research, I implemented it. That part right there is sometimes what a lot of people lack. And I'm happy that you also took it upon yourself to say, you know what? I don't want to go the medication route. I want to do this naturally, because a lot of people feel they have to go in that route. And I understand, everybody have to make a decision, what's best for them. But in that case, you made a decision what was best for you, and you wanted to feed your body naturally. So look what you did. When you fed it naturally, it prepared you for the next thing. Because what if you have not done that? What if your eating habit was off? What if you wasn't into your health? We can only imagine what that would have looked like, but it looks like the Holy Spirit guided you to say, this is what you need to do. And you was obedient, my sister. Yes. So I love that fact. But again, just listening to your story, it seems like the next best thing led you up, but you was prepared for it, but you didn't even know it. And it wasn't you, it was all in God's hands. So
it was God.
Like I
kept saying, this is a blessing in disguise, because I felt so good in my body, and I was sharing what I was finding, and I'm telling everybody, you need to buy those supplements. They're really good for you. It's natural. I'm living proof they work. And everybody that's around me, I'm like, you need to buy this, buy this, buy this.
Right.
Even now, realizing God was getting my body ready for something that could literally take me out.
Right.
Literally take me out. And when the doctor mentioned chemo, the shock, I thought I was done, because he said, well, we took out everything, we cleaned you, but he said, but because cancer cells can be very tricky, you never know, there might be one hiding somewhere that they didn't see. Because of that, we recommend that you do chemotherapy. And so of course I was like, okay, I need to go to God on this one, because I don't know. Should I go the natural route on this one? It's like a lot of back and forth in your mind, in your heart. Right. With my husband, with my family, I'm like, where do I go? I even talked to my primary care. Thank God I have a good primary care doctor who listens to you. And I was asking her, what do I do here? I'm thinking, and then I remember she said, Ingrid, you're young, you're healthy. Look what you did to with your health this past few months already. Your body is good. You can withstand chemo. Don't let it frighten you.
Wow.
And of course I went on my face to ask God, please lead me, give me peace, because the natural person, want to go natural stuff, wants to come out and say, I don't want to do chemo. But then I realized, what? Sometimes you just have to let God lead you, of course. Not sometimes, every time, of course, but sometimes you have to just understand the situation.
Right.
Each person has a separate, a separate situation. For my case, for my situation, that was the best route for me, because again, it was stage 1.
Right.
And so it wasn't gonna be like as aggressive, but it was still gonna hurt.
Right.
As aggressive meaning like I wasn't gonna go multiple times a week. That's what I mean. Wow. But it's the same, because it's the same medication. It's the same chemo treatment. It's just like, I thank God I didn't have to go, 2-3 times a week. That really hurts your body more.
Right. And I just want to say something real quick, Ingrid. I'm going to let you continue your story. But for those who don't know, to be honest, we all have cancerous cells in our body, but those cancerous cells are activated by the food we eat, for those who don't know. But it's at different levels. Like like you said, Ingrid said, it can be really small. It's nothing too big, but we all have it. But this is why it's so imperative to not only watch while you eat, but you need to know how your food is prepared, because how your food is prepared, it really does matter.
Yes.
So I just want everyone just to take that into consideration, going into the new year. So
yes.
Go ahead, Ingrid, continue.
Yes, definitely.
Lady K.